An actor, my son, but be a comical.
Hello, everyone. What a great night. I mean, the comedians that we've had out here tonight have just been fantastic. And yes, I mean, Lizzie did mention to me, I guess our previous show, I was supposed to do about an 18 minutes. Well, I had planned on doing 18 minutes. And then I had to cut it down to 13. And then at our pre-cast discussion, I'm down to 10. So, but, so I got up this morning and I thought, well, I was feeling fairly confident with regards to my set, but I thought, yeah, I'm going to go downstairs. My wife's cradling her cup of coffee around the island, and I thought I'm going to do my 10-minute set. So I went down, Linda, do you mind? And she said, oh, no, go ahead. So I went through it, and not much of a facial change, but when I got to the end, she looked at me and said, well, Christopher, it's supposed to be comedy, isn't it? And I said, well, yeah, it is. And she said, but where are all the funny bits? So you've been forewarned. My wife's a great judge of character. I mean, she did marry me. But hopefully for your sake, she's not a great judge of comedy. Now, my story begins March the 27th of 2020, COVID year. It was 2 o'clock in the morning when I awoke to a fantastic display of fireworks, only to open my eyes and realize it was all in my head. I had had a stroke. So I thought, well, I'm going to roll over and tell my wife. The only problem was I couldn't move. I was paralyzed down my whole right-hand side. And I know my walking boot's on the wrong foot, so I'm going to be messing up my kind of movements up here. But so when we woke up in the morning, I decided, well, I've got to get the day going. So I struggled, and finally I was able to roll myself out of bed. I dragged myself across the bedroom floor. Luckily, it was carpeted. And then I had to hop down the stairs backwards with on my, although it's not a good left leg today, but on my good left leg, hanging onto the banister with my good left arm. So I got all the way down to the bottom. And I glanced over, and I'm going to stop there for just a second, but in our foyer, we have a picture, a 2-foot by 3-foot picture of our deceased bunny, Buddy. And he's been a fantastic. Oh, he wasn't deceased when the picture was taken. I mean, he was alive and hopping. But so I kind of glanced over at Buddy, and there was Buddy, and he had this strange look on his face. And I thought, oh gosh, I better reassure him that everything's okay. So I looked at him and said, but. I thought, oh my gosh. Besides being paralyzed down my whole, well, right-hand side. I mean, oh, this is my right-hand side. But my whole right-hand side, I had lost the ability to speak. I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And that's when we all have this primitive brain, but it's not just mine. But my primitive brain kicked in, the fight or flight, or as we talked about earlier on last weekend, the stay put. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do? I thought I've got to get to the office. I've got to collect my thoughts and try to figure out what to do. So my wife's still at home. So I said in one syllable, bye. And that was it. And off I went. So my usual 10-minute walk to the office along a beautiful forested trail took me over an hour because there I was dragging my right leg. And I thought to myself, I mean, this is going to take forever. And then I thought, well, I'm going to do that swing step. So I'm doing this. And I thought to myself, hopefully nobody sees me because they're going to think, didn't Christopher make it to the bathroom on time? And then I thought of somebody, I mean, everybody in this audience knows this person. I mean, he's probably one of Canada's most recognized individuals, Terry Fox. I mean, Terry lost his leg to cancer, but he was able to run halfway across Canada on one leg. And it turns out to be on his left leg, too. So I thought, well, I'm going to incorporate that. So it's the double, well, I'm sorry about these legs, but it's the double hop skip technique, or as I coined it, the foxtrot. So I got to the office, came in through the front door of my office, and actually I haven't introduced myself, have I? No. Well, I'm Christopher. And I'm a dentist who's been practicing dentistry for 37 years out here in beautiful White Rock. All 37 years out here, so I'm a White Rock person. And, well, I mean, half of you are probably looking at me thinking, gosh, he looks so young. And the other half of you would be right. Only my esthetician, who actually arrived just a few minutes ago to see Sarah's set, knows my true fountain of youth routine. Now, us dentists, we're a strange lot. We have some bizarre idiosyncrasies, but we also hold some fairly prestigious positions on some of the lists that are compiled by the province of British Columbia's health division. Like, we're number 2 in divorce rate, and we're number 3 in suicide rate, and we're in top 5 for substance abuse. Now, some of you are probably thinking to yourselves, or turning to the person next to you thinking, who the heck in their right mind would want to become a dentist? Well, during the rest of this monologue, I'll be able to tell you probably 3 really good reasons why it's not a bad profession. So, here I am. I've made it to the office doing the foxtrot. And so I come in through the waiting room door, and the phone's ringing. I thought, oh gosh. So I just let it go to voicemail. I mean, I'm exhausted. I mean, I've done the foxtrot all the way to the office. So I think to myself, well, this is probably as far as I'm going to get. So I prop myself up onto the waiting room bench and got my right leg over my left leg and this arm back here. And I've got the office portable phone in my hand. And the phone rang. So I answered it. I mean, it's COVID. I mean, I'm still working. I'm the only one in the office working. I had to fire everybody, which was just a horrendous situation. So I'm the only one there. And so this lady calls. I mean, she's had quite an extensive amount of dentistry done. And she was just calling to inquire whether, well, what was the next phase of treatment, what length of time it would take, and possibly how much discomfort she would encounter, if that's the right word. And luckily for her and for myself, I was able to answer all of her questions with strategically placed yeses and nos. But it would be, yep, no. And by the end of the conversation, I think she became quite suspicious that something wasn't right. When she finally asked, oh, Christopher, Dr. Brooks, are you sure there's nobody that I can call that can come to the office that can help you? And I said, no. So the call ended, and I leaned back, sigh of relief. Oh, I dodged that bullet, as Jen said. I mean, phew, dodged that bullet. Well, or so I thought, because within 5 minutes, 3 RCMP officers come into the office. The lead officer sits down on the bench next to me, and the 2 other gentlemen say, well, we're going to look around. I thought, look around? So the lead officer starts asking me these questions. Well, first of all, he says, Dr. Brooks, we're here making a wellness check. Are you okay? Yeah. I mean, really, how was he to know that there was something wrong with me? I mean, how does he know that I'm not normally like paralyzed down my whole right-hand side and can't speak? I mean, he doesn't know. So, luckily for him, and probably for myself, I was able to answer all of his questions with strategically placed, yep, nope. And then the 2 officers came back. They said, yeah, we looked around. I mean, I could hear them in the back opening cupboard doors, shuffling about, shutting cabinet doors. And the taller of the 2 lead officers, or the other officer said, yep, there's nothing in the back that he can take that will cause him any harm. And they left. I thought, my gosh, are these guys delusional or what? I mean, didn't they go through my medicine cabinet where I've got my cocaine, my mepivacaine, my lidocaine and astrocaine, and then there's my pharmacy cabinet with the morphine, the codeine, and the clonazepam. Now, clonazepam, that is an interesting drug. It was originally developed as a treatment for seizure disorders, and it was very effective. But in dentistry, now here's one of the good reasons to become a dentist. Clonazepam. Now, if you go into the dentist, if you're moderate to severely anxious, and if I was to give you one of these pills, clonazepam, within 10 minutes, boy, you'd be feeling great. You'd have no hesitation whatsoever going back into the treatment area, laying down in the treatment chair, and having me poke around with my instrument in your mouth. But there's number 2. But, gosh. So, but clonazepam did become my drug of choice. 2014, our daughter was halfway through grade 12, and social media was ramping up. Some nasty things were being said on social media, catty girlfriends, and I imagine Sydney was probably part of that cattiness too, and also 2 boyfriend issues that we had to take her to Peace Arch Hospital because she attempted suicide, and she laid in a hospital bed for 3 days in emergency in the hallway. They moved her up to the 5th floor, and where she was in the adult psych ward. And luckily, Surrey Memorial Hospital has its own adolescent teenage psych ward, which is a minimum security prison. So you're searched going in and searched coming out. And that's where she was for 5 weeks. So my anxiety got ramped up quite a bit. And I don't know about any of you people here, but I surely wouldn't want to go see a dentist that hadn't slept for 3, 4, 5 days, who was going to operate a drill in your mouth that turns at 300,000 revolutions a minute. I mean, I sure wouldn't. So I thought, well, I'm going to pop one of these pills. So I did. And you wouldn't believe it. I had a fantastic night's sleep. But we're all professional here. I mean, gosh, I mean, the shame, the guilt. I thought, no, I slept. I'll be able to sleep again. Well, I didn't. And so the 3rd night, I took a pill. And I slept. Well, you can well imagine by, the end of the week, I was taking these pills every day. So from 2014 to 2020, when I had my stroke, those 6 years, every day, taking clonazepam, I seriously think that the clonazepam contributed to myself having a stroke. While I was in the hospital, I had 2 seizures and proceeded to fracture 3 vertebrae in my neck. So I would say that the clonazepam broke my neck. So now, in 1982, I was in a serious near-fatal car crash, which I feel caused me to develop a mild but manageable form of dyslexia. When I had my stroke in 2020, that manageability just disappeared and it became terribly unmanageable. I mean, simple words got all mangled up. Transposing letters, missing out letters. I mean, just for example, my wife, she drives a 2005 Volvo wagon. And oh, come on, Lizzie. Okay, well, I cut out that last bit then. That was one of my favorite parts. I mean, it's there's Sarah going back to Regina. So there's Linda. She has a car, and it's a Volvo. She's going to take her Volvo and drive it back to Vagina. So that's that joke. So of course I'm not allowed to tell that joke. So, as you all know, I'm a dentist. So here I am. So this is what I see every day. I do numerous head and neck examinations every day. So we can see all that. And you see that little tag of tissue in the back there? That's called the uvula. Now with dyslexia, if you were to remove one of those letters or change the shape of one of those letters, the word takes on a totally different meaning. So just last week, I had this lady come into the office. She sat down in the chair. And I walked up to her, looked at her and said, "Open wide, I want to look at your vulva." And she looked a little startled, and she said, "But Dr. Brooks, I thought I was here for you to look at my sore tooth. I didn't realize I had gone to the gynecologist." Now, you guys have been great. Thank you very much.